After wildcard weekend, I wanted to discuss the narrative around some of these young hotshot quarterbacks like Justin Herbert and Jordan Love. Obviously, both are very talented players. They have a lot of physical gifts. They're big, they're strong, they're kind of mobile, have rocket arms, and well, they're really fun to watch. Well, unfortunately, over the past weekend, these two quarterbacks in particular, who were kind of anointed as the next generation of young gun quarterbacks in the NFL, well, they laid stinkers in wildcard weekend. To start with Justin Herbert, well, he threw 4 interceptions against the Houston Texans. And I've understood that the Texans defense was pretty good if you think about the pass rush and then their defense as a whole with the secondary. But some of these interceptions were just really inexcusable. If you think about the throw across the body, targeting Quentin Johnston out of all receivers, I mean, that is just not good offense at all. I mean, Quentin Johnston has been a bust since entering the NFL, and despite a slight uptick this season, I would not like to make my chances against him against Kamari Lassiter. The other 2 interceptions were him making plays, or that's at least the excuse, but the interception performance, at least throwing 4 in a playoff game, now dropping to 0-2, isn't that great a look. And then if you also think about his contributions to the massive collapse just 2 seasons ago against the Jacksonville Jaguars, while he didn't have a terrible game, his lack of running an offense to at least kill the clock and at least stop the Jags' momentum in that wildcard game was also can be attributed to him. Make excuses what you want for Justin Herbert. He's a very young quarterback, so expect him to rebound in year 3. Expect him to rebound with another year under Jim Harbaugh. For Jordan Love, he had a 3 interception performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, and just like Justin Herbert, I thought that a lot of these interceptions were either balls that were misplaced or just not reading the defense, because last year after beating up on the Dallas Cowboys, and that was a really good performance. That's the first ever 7 seed to upset a 2 seed, and that's going to always be tied to Jordan Love. He had this Cinderella run. He took the top-seeded 49ers to the gun, basically. But in this performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, road test, and I understand 3 receivers eventually get knocked out, you lose some offensive linemen, but the interceptions were a problem. The interception to Darius Slay was underthrown. It didn't make a lot of sense trying to make that kind of throw, at least in that position, because Darius Slay, despite being maybe a little bit of an older cornerback, he is still very fast. The issue with the throw to Zach Bond, well, Zach was dropping into coverage, and for whatever reason, Jordan Love did not see him. And I don't have too much blame for Jordan Love just trying to make a play, which it was a last gasp attempt, but the throw to Quinion Mitchell in the end zone, it was double coverage. It didn't really make a ton of sense for that receiver to win against him and CJ Gardner-Johnson. We may need to pump the brakes on these 2 guys. I mean, this is still very early in their careers, like I've been saying, but while anointing them as maybe these hot commodities, I mean, these 2 have a combined playoff record of just 1-4 in the playoffs, and that's not that great. And let's give them a little bit of patience, because obviously football is a team sport, so they need a little bit more of a supporting cast. But I think anointing these 2 quarterbacks as the next best is something where we need to have some cause to pause.